I'm Tom, and we've seen that Turki Alalshikh has now struck a deal with DAZN to get rid of the pay-per-view model, and that's massive. Myself, along with most boxing fans, have been calling for this, and I was really looking forward to Matchroom signing with DAZN because they said the main reason they're signing with DAZN is because they can't promote the amount of pay-per-views that Sky wanted them to make. Matchroom said the reason they left Sky, or one of the main reasons they left Sky, is because every even remotely big fight they wanted to make, they wanted to put on pay-per-view, and it's difficult to justify that to fans. DAZN didn't want that, and what we started to see was that fights that really weren't pay-per-view fights that really shouldn't be on pay-per-view, like the Moses Tama versus Dillian Whyte fight on August 16th, getting whacked on pay-per-view. Now, me personally, I don't mind buying pay-per-views, the odd pay-per-view here and there, but when every single big fight is on pay-per-view, it makes no sense. Imagine you paid all these subscriptions to watch the Premier League football, but then Liverpool versus Man City, Arsenal versus Man City, Arsenal versus Liverpool got put on pay-per-view for 20 quid. So you're paying to watch the Premier League, but then the games you really want to watch, like the title deciders, like Man City versus Liverpool, get put on pay-per-view. Or I'm a rugby fan. Imagine you pay to watch rugby and Saracens versus Bath, or Bristol versus Bath, Gloucester versus Bath, the Southwest Derby, get put on pay-per-view. It makes no sense because they're the ones you want to see. And that's what we see in boxing. You pay a subscription to watch the boxing fights, but the boxing fights you really want to watch get put on pay-per-view. And it was getting ridiculous. It was far too much. I said that. It seems like everyone's been listening because now they've struck a deal that the Ring magazine and Riyadh season events will no longer be on pay-per-view. Starting from Ring 4 in November and subsequent Ring magazine fights and Saudi Arabian Riyadh season cards won't be on pay-per-view. That's huge. What it means is we will still see your promoters, Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, put on pay-per-view cards, but it'll only be outside of those two events, which means it will be the odd pay-per-view. And I don't massively mind that. So we'll still see them, but certainly far less frequently. And what it will mean is if you're seeing colossal cards like Ring Magazine, like Saudi Arabia Riyadh season, for free, including in subscription, people like Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn are going to be far more hesitant to put cards on pay-per-view unless they're really, really value for money. So we're going to start seeing value for money. Things like Itama versus Dillian Whyte wouldn't be pay-per-view. So it looks like we're finally seeing fan-first moves in boxing, and I think this is probably to rival things like Netflix. Obviously, Netflix getting involved in boxing, wanting the huge, huge cards. Probably to rival things like that. Fan-first moves. Probably going to see other broadcasters start to follow suit and start to really lessen their pay-per-view scheme, especially again with people like Netflix putting on the biggest shows included in part of your subscription. And we should see fighters begin to take more fights because now it will be more guaranteed purses as opposed to having to decide on split kind of percentages of pay-per-view buys. It'll be more, no, this is what you're going to get, take it or leave it. Like, this is the set purse. So we should start seeing more big fights get agreed. So we'll still see pay-per-views, but it's massive progress in the right direction. And it makes me start to wonder, TKO, you're assuming, will be on Netflix. So TKO's the boxing league that Dana White and Turki Alalshikh have come together to create, the UFC sort of rules. We've just seen Congress pass a bill to allow it. I initially thought they're going to be on Netflix, included in part of your Netflix subscription. Maybe they'll whack another $5 on to have like a boxing subscription as part of a Netflix subscription. I don't mind paying that. And then you'll get all the TKO fights. Brilliant. Everyone's got Netflix. That's brilliant for boxing. You know, I think all the people that will want to watch boxing and TKO will be on that. So I wonder if DAZN's going to try and now combat that and get TKO over on DAZN. I don't mind. I personally would rather Netflix. Netflix, everyone's got it. It's great for boxing. So to finish, I want to say that maybe now the days of overpriced mismatches are gone. You know, days where we see AJ versus, you know, some Burma who's just got off the sofa on pay-per-view. Maybe now they're gone. Days Dillian Whyte versus Itama, a great matchup, but not pay-per-view. They should be gone. As I say, champions fighting nobodies, like when not nobodies, but Fury fighting Chisora, mismatches, overpriced on pay-per-view. Hopefully these days are gone. This is brilliant for boxing. Fantastic news all around. People, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe. You know how this stuff works, people. Peace.